Set to wrap up this series between Nova Southeastern and the Tampa Spartans. Tampa took the first game of our doubleheader 3-1, and it'll be Holly Steffes, who started game one of this doubleheader, who'll get the ball in game two of this doubleheader. Victor Anderson, glad you're with us. Alongside Tim Henley, you'll hear from him shortly. Brianna Matthews, Abby Moore, Christina DiAgostino, the top third of the order for the Sharks against Holly Steffes. Shows bunt, takes that one up high and away for ball one. Steffes started game one, went 3 innings. Give up an unearned run on 5 hits, walked 1, struck out 2 on 67 pitches. We saw her getting a lot of work with pitching coach Jackie Davis. And Steffes with a nice little PFP to retire Matthews for the first out of our contest. Nova Southeastern will have Matthews, Moore, DiAgostino 1 through 3. Gianna Russo, Anna Richiez, Brent Birchfield 4, 5, 6. Isaacson, Lewis, and Schwanner 7, 8, 9. Grayson Wallace will be in the circle for the Sharks. That one's down and inside to Abby Moore, ball one. Moore in game one went 1 for 4. The one was a single off Gwen McGinnis in the 7th. Moore in the series 2 for 7. Had an RBI double in the series opener last night. Now, will I stay in play? The answer is yes. Carly Salisbury tracks it down right in front of the Nova Southeastern Bull dugout for out number 2. Defensively for Tampa, same defensive alignment they had in game one. In the outfield, it'll be Abby Johns, Joey Treywick, Cam Feast, the outfield from left to right. Carly Salisbury, who caught that first out, should be at first with Hannah Yetter, Abby Reynolds, and Jenna Newpaver first to third, and Kenna Kryler catching Holly Steffes. Gwen McGinnis came in relief in the 4th, pitched the final 4 innings, got her 17th win on the season. 2 down for DiAgostino. Down low and inside. Evens up the count, 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Spartans looking for the sweep to improve to 13-5 in the conference and 26-8 overall. Swing and a miss, 1-2. One other final in the conference, Palm Beach Atlantic beat Blinn 2-1. Rest of the games still going on. Game one of those doubleheaders. That one's hit deep to left. That one will sail foul. Well out of reach of Abby Johns. Bottom of the 6th in Melbourne. Embry Riddle leading Florida Tech 3-0. Rollins ahead against Barry 6-4. They're in the bottom of the 4th at Rollins Softball Stadium. And Florida Southern stunning St. Leo 2-1. They're in the top of the 5th. Lions with a 29-game winning streak on the line against the Mocs. 2 balls, 2 strikes for DiAgostino. Game one went 0 for 3 with a walk. Down and inside, and it's a full count, 3-2. Steffes' ERA was ticked up just a touch after that outing with the unearned run. Left center field, it will be Johns at the last second near the warning track to bring that down and retire the Sharks in order. Spartans will have their first swings when we come back to May Mobley Family Stadium on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Bottom of the first we go. It'll be the redshirt junior Grayson Wallace, tasked by head coach Julie Lemaire to salvage a game in this series against the Tampa Spartans. Wallace, redshirt junior out of Sorrento, Florida. Transferred in from Florida Gulf Coast in 2024 after a year with the Eagles. It'll be the same Tampa lineup in game number 2 as they had in game number 1. New Paper, Johnson, Feast. New Paper takes strike 1. Kryler, Trawick, Kelsey Winters gets to start as a designated player. And then Salisbury, Yetter, and Reynolds. So Coach Leslie Cantor shaking things up a little bit with this lineup, especially with Kelsey Winters getting a pitch hit single for pinch hit single for Carly Salisbury in the 6th. Coach Cantor awarding the one-time Iowa Hawkeye with the start. Up high to New Paper. Jenna ahead, 2 balls, 1 strike. New Paper 0 for 3 in game 1 of the doubleheader. Low and inside. Down low and outside. We need to count the 3 balls and a strike. So New Paper, Johnson, Feast, the top third of the Tampa order today for Leslie Cantor. And I will find the glove of the second baseman. There will be no play, however, for Gianna Russo. Russo with a nice backhand, but it'll be an infield single for Jenna New Paper. So now here comes Abby Johns. Coach Cantor trying to find some answers at that number 2 slot behind New Paper. It was Aubrey Zeckman for the bulk of the season, and then when she ran into her struggles, it's been kind of a merry-go-round, and now Abby Johns will have her chance as a hitter behind one Jenna New Paper and in front of Cam Feast and Kenna Kryler. Johns in game 1 went 1 for 2, had a sacrifice, had an RBI single to give the Spartans the eventual 3-1 lead and win. And she shows bunt, takes that outside. 1 ball, 1 strike is rejoined by Tim Henley, who was busy doing social media, getting stuff together for game number 2, and joins us on the microphone. Sharks anticipating bunt, and she lays down the punt nonetheless. Executed beautifully, knowing the bunt was coming, and Johns does her job nonetheless. Moves New Paper over and sets up Cam Feast.
Cam Feast, who had a really good game 1 today, so we'll be eager to build on that and hopefully drive in a run here.
Feast went 2 for 3 of an RBI in that aforementioned game 1. So our batting average increase in conference play. Ball pops away from the catcher, and that will let New Paper scamper over to third. Feast hits that to left center field. I'll get the Spartans on the board. Feast will be at least for 2. New Paper scores. Feast gets waved around from Leslie Cantor. Heifers dives safely in the third. Feast a little shaken up. It looks like she collided with the left knee of the Agostino. And that is the last thing Tampa needs. It's the awkward slide from Cam Feast. So the Spartans get the lead. They're going to take a look at Cam Feast.
You like to see the aggressive base running, but always one of the dangers of sliding headfirst into any base.
I think what happened was, Tim, was that it wasn't so much how she slid as that she had a slight collision with the Agostino was kind of waiting to receive that relay throw from the shortstop, and Cam slid, and the top of her batting helmet collided with the right knee of the Agostino, but Feast is all right. And, well, you can tell she's celebrating over at third after that RBI triple to get the Spartans on the board. So Feast with her 14th RBI on the season. Her third triple on the year. Here's Kenna Kreidler. They're giving her a lot of real estate up the middle. Kreidler wants time, doesn't get it granted. Wallace takes a little long time for that first pitch and misses inside, ball one. Defensively for Nova Southeastern, Brianna Matthews in the left, Destiny Lewis in center, Mia Schwanner in right. Anna Ritchie as at first, Gianna Russo at second, Savannah Isaacson at short, Christina D'Agostino at third, Abby Moore doing the catching for Graceland Wallace, 2 balls, no strikes. These opportunities Coach Cantor has preached about her team capitalizing on so much this season. You get the early lead, you got a runner in scoring position, 1 out. Crowder again trying to bash that one up the box to bring home Feast from third.
You'd think the more early run support that the Spartans can give to Holly Steffes, the more comfortable she'll be in the circle. Didn't have a lot of runs to work with early in the first game, and maybe that contributed to why the Sharks got some early runs on her.
Fouled up out of play, keeps up the count 2-2. Remember, Nova Southeastern jumped on Steffes in the second inning on the air on a drop pop-up from Hannah Yetter to give the Sharks a 1-0 lead. Steffes went 3 innings, gave way to Gwen McGinnis after the Spartans took the lead in the bottom of the third. And Crowler goes down chasing on her eyes ball. So 2 out, it'll be up to Joey Treywick. Treywick continues her strong performance in the lineup. Reached base twice in game 1. Fouls it off the knob of the bat, strike 1. Treywick reached on a fielding error and a single back in the 6th in game 1. It was caught stealing on a delayed double steal. Cam Feast at third, 2 out. Spartans ahead 1-0. Treywick swings through 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes for Treywick. Grayson Wallace trying to limit the damage to the single run. That could be trouble, and it just goes over the shortstop's head. Treywick goes to second, ball skips away, and it's a 2-0 Spartan lead on the Joey Treywick RBI single. She advances to second on the throw.
Treywick continues her relative hot streak of just coming through in clutch situations when the Spartans need her to.
So Treywick with her 5th RBI of the season. And here comes Kelsey Winters. Winters with a pinch hit single on the first pitch she saw in the 6th of Anna Richiez. Earns her to start as a designated player in the series finale. This time she lets the first pitch go high and tight for ball 1. Again, that base hit for Winters in the 6th was only her 2nd base hit of the season. The other came against Palm Beach Atlantic 3 weekends ago at Simpson Field. 1-0, bounce over to Agostino. Gets that one clean, low throw, scooped up at first. Good job hanging on to that at first base is Richie as the end of the inning. But the Spartans again strike first. Cam Feast with the RBI single and Joey Treywick's RBI single. Gives the Spartans a 2-0 lead at the 1 on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Top of the second we go here in the Imoli Family Stadium. Victor Anderson, glad you're with us alongside Tim Henley. Spartans with the 1-0 lead. It'll be Russo, Richiez, Birchfield, 4-5-6 to take on Holly Steffes. Retired the Sharks in order in the top of the first. Starts the second one with a pitch upstairs to Russo. Keeping an eye on what's going on in St. Leo, Florida. The Lions' 29-game winning streak in the balance. As a appeal to first and no swing, says Brian Serafin. He's our field umpire. Calling the balls and strikes, and Scott Boswell signals 2-0. This is the location. All of a sudden, 3-0 is accounted in favor of the senior second baseman for Nova Southeastern. As before it gets over, get me over strike, makes it 3-1. Florida Tech trailing Embry-Riddle 3-1 there in the bottom of the seventh, but the Panthers had the bases loaded. Lions down 2-1. They had the bases loaded in the fifth. All three games in progress had the bases loaded, except for this one here, as Steffes works to count full 3-2. Payoff pitch coming for Steffes. High chopper over the short. Reynolds gets it there to Salisbury. 1 out. And Tim, you referenced in our first game, if Steffes can get through that first time through the order with minimal damage, it will definitely build her confidence. And now she has the lead to protect as she goes to work in the second against Anna Richiez.
Yeah, she's definitely been better the first time through the order. This interesting to see that she's doing well again the first time through the order, considering this is actually the second and third time she's seeing most of these hitters today.
Only threw 3 innings, had 65 pitches in said 3 innings. As Richiez grounds one on the knees, Yetter gets it there to first for out number 2. And we saw Jackie Davis, Tampa pitching coach, really working with Steffes on her windup and her delivery and her arm slide after she got taken out of the game for Gwen McGinnis, and was doing some extra work with her before she came back to start game 2 of the doubleheader. And so far, those adjustments have worked for the freshman. Here's Bryn Birchfield. Takes ball 1. Embry-Riddle up 3-1 on Florida Tech there in the 7th. Florida Southern still clinging to a 2-1 lead against St. Leo there in the top of the 6th. Misses down low in the corner. 2 balls, no strikes. We're in Birchfield. Birchfield, game 1 went 1 for 4. Went 1 for 3. 3-1. The other game in progress in Winter Park. Rollins leads Barry 9-4 there in the top of the 5th. Tars possibly can rule the Bucks if we get a 3-run home run. Actually, Barry first and second and 2 out there, trying to cut that deficit against the Tars, who will come to Tampa next week. Those two with a long storied history. Steffes is 3-1. Down in the corner, and it's a full count again. So Steffes, back-to-back batters, has worked trail 3-0 and has worked the count full. She got Richiez to ground out to Yetter. See what she does here with Birchfield. Payoff delivery. Birchfield jammed, and now will land on the top of the netting right in front of us. Of course, Tampa Beach Volleyball competing for a conference championship today at St. Leo in the Beach Volleyball Championships. We'll give you an update when we have some time to do so. And now one caught Birchfield. Not the way she wants to get on first base, but hey, you get on base all the same, and I think They're going to appeal if she offered. I don't think she did. Now, Coach Cantor is saying that did she swing? It didn't appear from my vantage point, Tim, that she did. Or they say that she did go after it.
I didn't think she did either, but the umpires are saying differently.
Wow. They said she went after that, and here comes Julie Lemaire. Now, remember, if a batter gets hit, the batter's swing supersedes if the batter got hit. So even though she got hit, which is unfortunate, because of the appeal to first, and Brian Seraphin said that she did go around, Julie Lemaire will lose that argument. We'll head back to the dugout. We'll head to the bottom of the second. Still 2-0 Spartans on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Bottom of the second, and it is the bottom of the order coming up for Tampa. Carly Salisbury, Hannah Yetter, and Kenzie Reynolds to the plate. Victor Anderson, glad you're with us. Tim Henley alongside as well, as people are blowing up his phone during the break, asking for his services elsewhere, but he's handling business here on commentary right now. So y'all going to have to wait a little while. Salisbury goes out to the first pitch and drives that foul. Well past the left fielder Matthews.
Yeah, it seemed to be pretty popular when people need somebody.
I know.
Yeah.
It always happens when you want to be bothered, people don't bother you. When you don't want to be bothered, that's when people blow up your phone left and right.
So true. So true.
The bane of being a wanted individual. No balls, one strike to count. Salisbury fouls that one back, brings the count to 0-2. I wish we had one of those alternate broadcasts where you can see the commentary going on in the press box, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I don't know if it will happen because some of it may not be suitable for public consumption, but just a thought. Salisbury 0-2, drives that to right. That could fall in. It does, but just foul. Great effort over at second base by Brianna Russo. Giving a valiant charge, but the ball just fell right in front of her glove.
Russo trying to show us that the real action's happening on the field and not in the press box.
That is 100% correct, good sir. Count stays 0-2. And Salisbury goes down swinging. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Graceland Wallace. And it'll bring up Hannah Yetter. And they're going to do, they're going to have a, I think going to ask Coach Cantor to back up a little bit. We see Brian Seraphin asking Coach Cantor to make sure she's properly positioned. Graceland Wallace with a stellar time so far in South Florida, her 2 seasons after she transferred in from Florida Gulf Coast, and she gets that one in ball 1. Last year, she went 22-4 with a 1.83 ERA. This year, already 13-8 with a 2.30 ERA. It's been the workhorse of this Nova Southeastern staff. She gets an easy fly out by Hannah Yetter to Matthews for out number 2. So here comes Kenzie Reynolds with 2 out, bases empty. Reynolds, game 1 went 0 for 2. They reached on an air to lead off the third and scored. Takes strike for strike 1. Reynolds, slow roll over to second. Russo underhand toss, and the Spartans will be retired in order. 3-0-3 down, go you Tampa. We'll head to the top of the third. Still 2-0 in favor of the home team on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Top of the third, we go at Namoli Family Stadium alongside Tim Henley. Victor Anderson, glad you're with us on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Spartans with a 2-0 lead over Nova Southeastern. It'll be Savannah Isaacson, Destiny Lewis, and Mia Schwanner to take on the freshman Holly Steffes. And whatever Coach Jackie Davis talked with the young freshman after she got lifted and in between games has paid off so far. She's retired the first 6 Sharks she has faced. And dating back to her time in the bullpen, and we're going to see another conversation with Brian Serafin. I think talking about Steffes in that exchange with the hand in her glove. And that's going to be given ball 1. Now 2 balls and no strikes, and whatever you're worried about the umpires mentioning something about your pitching mechanics, that could become a mental thing and really knock you out of your rhythm and your cadence. Cadence, they're not interrupted there as Steffes gets the strike, makes it count 2-1. Isaacson swings and misses, inks up the count to 2-2. Isaacson was the last batter Steffes faced before Gwen McGinnis came in relief in the 4th. Isaacson was 1 for 3 in the game, 1 for 2 against Steffes. How's that one back behind the screen, behind Kreidler?
Steffes has done a good job so far this game of, even though she's been getting behind a lot of hitters, she's been working her way back into counts, getting chances at strikeouts, making sure that Sharks hitters are actually working for getting on base.
And she's making Isaacson work for this at bat in the 3rd. She fouls that one back. Final from Melbourne, Embry-Riddle knocks off Florida Tech 3-1. And it's St. Leo, Florida Southern ahead against the Lions 3-1. They're in the 6th. Call strike 3. She freezes Isaacson. Second straight strikeout for Holly Steffes, 1 down. And Florida Southern is threatening, by the way. They got first and second with 2 out. That game available on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Rollins has just run-ruled Barry in 5 innings, 13-4 in Winter Park. Low and outside, ball 1. Today, hole hitter Destiny Lewis. Lewis reached base all 3 times she went to the plate in game 1. Was officially 2 for 3 and reached on an air along with her 2 base hits. Driven deep to center field. Treywick with plenty of room and makes the catch. That's out number 2. In every other park in the conference, that's going to be at least at the warning track or a home run. Here in Tampa, SNFA.
Just goes to show what I was saying earlier in Game 1. There's not many players that hit home runs here at Naimoli Family Field. Destiny Lewis, 11 home runs on the season. Plenty of power, just couldn't even get that one to the warning track.
You think about home runs in general, Tim. In games between Tampa and their opponents, a combined 6 home runs have been hit. And we're 33 games into the season. Think about that.
It's not a lot.
No.
It's not a lot at all.
Matter of fact, Cam Feast hit a home run in Lakeland at Florida Southern. That was the first home run the Spartan hit, dating back to the second weekend of the season with a tournament that Tampa went to Embry-Riddle and went undefeated. It had been that long since the Spartan had circled the bases in traditional fashion. 2-1 skips past Kenna Kryler.
This park really does suit how this team is built, and you think Leslie Cantor knows that, and she's built this team around speed, contact, and pitching. And that's why Spartans have had such a successful program for so long.
3-1, got a little piece of it, and it'll be a full count. You have to really be impressed with how Holly Steffes has bounced back after that shaky second inning in Game 1. Got lifted after 3 innings. And now she's retired. The first 9 Sharks she's faced, and 3 of them have been via the strikeout. 9 in a row retired by the freshman. Spartans ahead 2-0 after 2.5 on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Bottom of the third, we go in Tampa, Florida, alongside Tim Henley on Victor Anderson. Spartans up 2-0 at the top of the order. Due up, Jenna Newpaver. Abby Johns, Cam Feast. Take on Gracelyn Wallace, the ace of this Nova Southeastern staff. What a find she has been for head coach Julie Lemaire. Wallace in her 2 seasons already at Nova Southeastern finds herself in the top 10 in strikeouts, wins, making her 45th start on the season. Her next start will tie her with Emily Hess for the 9th most starts. She has a long way to go to pass Lexi Sarah Dead, who holds the program record with 98 games started. That's in for a strike to bring the count to 2-1. Newpaver reached on a single and came home on the Cam Feast triple in the first. Ooh, a little high inside near the front of that Tampa white jersey. Newpaver ahead 3-1.
I think the message here from Leslie Cantor is just look for a pitch that you can really drive.
And if you don't, just take it up high and take a walk. It was the 3rd inning where Tampa got their 3 runs across against Nova Southeastern. A warrant a visit to the circle for the catcher, Abby Moore. Right now, if you're Tampa, you have a big opportunity. You got the 2-0 lead. Your freshman pitcher has been immaculate in the circle so far. John shows bunt, takes ball one down low. They're going to appeal first to see if she win. No swing from the number 2 hole hitter, and I'll warn Leslie Cantor to have a conversation with Abby Johns.
Johns bunted Newpaper over to second base in the first inning, so looks like a similar strategy going on here.
Mm-hmm.
But perhaps that conversation with Leslie Cantor, maybe a little switch in strategy, maybe just a little fake out to keep the Sharks honest.
And remember, we did see in that third inning that the Kinsey Reynolds reached on an error. Temple was not able to move her over on a sacrifice bunt, so Reynolds eventually stole second. And that is not what Coach Cantor had in mind. That pitch was high and tight, and Johns couldn't get that barrel out of the way in time. It ends up being an easy pop-up for DiAgostino.
Almost looked like Johns was using the bat to protect herself from getting hit more than actually trying to offer at the pitch.
Yeah.
Just happened to make contact and pop it up.
It certainly looked that way from our vantage point. Here comes Cam Feast. Feast aggressive, goes after that first pitch, fouls it back. Feast responsible for not getting the first runs for Tampa in their 2 games today. Had the RBI single to tie things up in the third in game 1. Had the RBI triple to put the Spartans ahead here in game 2. One and one. Both Feast and Wallace spent their first seasons at Florida Gulf Coast before coming to the Sunshine State Conference.
Gotta imagine there are a lot of players that have taken that track. Staying in Florida, competitive conference as the Sunshine State Conference is, gotta be a popular path.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot of lately. Of course, Tampa, no stranger, of taking players on the Division I level who didn't get much playing time, get a chance to stay in state, play some great softball in pristine weather. And Feast is ahead. Feast evens up the count 2-2. Feast continues to thrive in that number 2. Feast continues to thrive in that number 2 and now number 3 slot in the lineup. Upstairs, and Feast works the count full 3-2. I think that tells you the faith that Coach Cantor has entrusted in Cam throughout this season. If you remember, Feast was hitting 4th or 5th in the lineup early on behind Kenna Kryler. Now she's hitting in front of her. And Feast draws to walk. So 2 free passes from Wallace. It brings up the aforementioned Kenna Kryler. And see a Warren a visit by head coach Julie Lemaire. Not as of yet. Wallace, her last appearance. Of course, Wallace pitched last night in the series opener versus Gwen McGinnis. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, a hard luck 2-1 loss. Kryler fouls that one back. Wallace did have a stretch starting in the final game of that Rollins series where she had nearly 14 innings of scoreless softball. Picked up 3 wins and a save during that stretch. And seen her ERA slowly tick down. It was at 2.62 after she gave up 4 earned and 10 hits and a loss to Florida Tech. And has now dropped to the 2.30 she currently has, but is up right now, 1-1. Here's to count to Kryler, 2 on, 1 out. Kryler trying to find that Tampa logo near left field, where Matthews is shaded over. Appy's playing near almost 2 feet in front of the warning track. The rest of the outfielders playing a little bit more shallower than her. Ryler hits that one well to right center. 3 Sharks are there, but it'll be the second baseman, Russo, to make the catch. And that's out number 2. So once again with 2 outs, it'll be tasked on the center fielder, Joey Treywick. Treywick knocked in a run on an RBI single back in the first to bring home Cam Feast. Treywick takes ball 1.
Treywick's season numbers are very deceptive for how she's been hitting recently, especially today. Already coming through with a couple of clutch RBI base knocks.
You mentioned the splits that she had from the regular season to conference play. Check swing, fouls that one back to the netting, 1-1. Treywick coming into the doubleheader today was hitting 163 for the season, but in conference play, the average has jumped almost 100 points to 261. And added to that total with her performance going 1 for 3. And we'll add to that performance here. She splits the gap of left center field. She will score a new paver. Feast gets the wave around. She scores standing up. A 2-run double for Joey Treywick. The hot hitter continues, and it's a 4-0 lead for Tampa. Have yourself a day, Joey Treywick. And Tim, as if on cue, sir, Joey Treywick makes you sound like a genius.
She's making me look really smart, and I gotta admit, I like looking pretty smart in front of everybody.
Of course. They wouldn't task you to be the SID of this program if they didn't think you were capable of doing it, sir.
Of course.
Treywick 3 RBIs on the day. She's 2 for 2. Kelsey Winter goes after the first pitch from Wallace, fouls that one away behind the Nova Southeastern dugout. Joey Treywick coming into this game had 5 RBIs total. 2 at-bats, 2 for 2, 3 RBIs.
Seeing the ball like a watermelon.
And crushing the watermelon like her name was Gallagher. This is low, 1-1. And about 95% of the people are wondering who the heck got. For those of you who don't know, YouTube Gallagher Watermelon Smash. You're welcome. 1 ball, 1 strike. Winters. Sky ball stays in the infield. Isaacson is there, and that will end the Spartans' third. But Joey Treywick once again with a 2-run, this time 2-out, 2-run double. 2 runs, 1 hit, 1 Spartan left on base. We're through 3 at Maine Moley Family Stadium. 4-0 Tampa on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Top of the 4th we go here at Namoli Family Stadium. 4-0 lead in favor of the Spartans. Victor Anderson, Tim Henley, glad that you're with us. Seals across the board for the Sharks. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Spartans. They have left 2. Holly Stephens is retired the first 9 she's faced. And that will be 10 just by a step. Good bunt laid down by Matthews. Even better throw executed by Kenneth Kreidler. And that's out number one here in the fourth.
Ball just about stayed fair, and they just about got her at first.
Yeah, just barely. And as Abby Moore had to shed her dry fit towel from behind the right hip before she steps to the plate. Moore fouled out to Salisbury in the first. Steffes falls behind 1-0. Steffes today has retired the first 10 Sharks she's faced, 11 in a row if you include her last out she got in the third. 44 pitches, 23 strikes. Pitch number 45 is a row foul along third. Meanwhile, the upset watch is not ongoing right now. St. Leo has stormed back with 3 in the bottom of the sixth to take a 4-3 lead over Nova Southeastern. So the Lions looking like they will make it a 30-game winning streak and counting for the number 2 ranked team in the nation and one of the teams, quote-unquote, in consideration when the first regional, quote-unquote, rankings come out. Of course, first regional rank is always in alphabetical order and teams in consideration. And then the actual rankings will be weeks 2 and 3. Top 7 teams will make the conference, will make the regional tournament. The reason I say the top 7 is because the SIAC champ gets the automatic bid because they will be outside of the top 10. Bounce it over the short to Reynolds, 2 down. And this is Holly Steffes' game. Gets the ball down, keeps the ball in play, lets the infield do the bulk of the work for her. And that's how Holly Steffes, prior to that rough patch she had against Florida Southern, what we saw earlier today, has been a solid number 2 behind Gwen McGinnis.
That goes back to your point you made last game of the infield needing to be solid, and Leslie Canner knowing that is very much to Holly Steffes' strength.
And a first pitch pop-up to Reynolds. Holly Steffes has retired 12 in a row. We're through 3.5. Julie Lemaire going to make a change in the circle. We'll tell you what that change is on the other side in the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Bottom of the fourth, new pitcher in the circle for Nova Southeastern. It's a 5'4" freshman from Plainview, New York, Avery Desner. Desner comes in. She makes her 6th appearance, 11th appearance overall. Makes her 15th appearance overall, and her 7th out of relief. 5'4", 3.05 ERA. Salisbury, bottom third of the order for Tampa due up. Salisbury, Yetter, and Reynolds. Victor Anderson, Tim Henley, glad that you're with us on this Saturday afternoon. Salisbury takes strike 1.
Clearly the Sharks thinking that Tampa had really gotten to Graceland Wallace and thinking that a change needed to be made in order for this game to really stay within touching distance with how good Holly Steffes has been pitching.
Wallace went 3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts on 49 pitches. They're going to ask if Salisbury offered on the bunt. They say the answer is no. That one tails high and outside, brings the count to 2-1. Desner last appeared against Rollins on March 21st. Went a third of an inning, gave up a hit on 2 runs. Just a soft liner over to second, handled by Russo for out number 1. Here's Hannah Yetter. Yetter flew out to left. Back into second. Drops inside for ball 1. Tampa with 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the third. And Holly Steffes has retired the first 12 sharks she's faced. Swing from the 8-hole hitter for the Spartans. Checks a foul off home plate. High and outside brings the count to 2-1. 2 balls and a strike for Hannah Yeller with Kenzie Reynolds on deck. 4-0 lead for the Spartans, bottom of the 4th. New pitcher for Nova Southeastern, Avery Desner. Now will fall into left field just in front of Brianna Matthews. And Hannah Yeller is aboard with 1 out. And I'll bring up Kenzie Reynolds.
Yetter would have had a hard time dropping it out of the sky in a better position than where that ball found.
Here's Reynolds. Reynolds rolled over to Russo at second, and it's Tampa second. Likely we'll see the bunt be laid down to set up Newpaver and Johns. Nope, at least not yet. Takes that one upstairs for a ball. Could not hold up. She definitely did go around. Nope. I thought she did go around, but Brian Serafin had a better view and said she did not. Fortunate break for the junior. So instead of it being 1-1, it's 2-0. And that one will get Jan, who falls into center field. And Tampa with 2 aboard. Thanks to back-to-back base hits on the 8 and 9 hole. And they'll turn over the lineup to Jenna Newpaver.
Spartans looking for perhaps an early end to this game. Couple of runners on, top of the order coming up. Seemingly the run rule within range, but every Desner is not going to want that to happen. Going to look to dig her heels in right here.
Here's Jenna Newpaver. She's reached base twice on a single in the first and a walk in the third. Newpaver given the go-ahead to swing from Coach Cantor instead of the walk sign, instead of the bunt signal. Take strike 1. Slices that to left. Matthews only has to take a step to her left to get out number 2. So 2 down. That'll be up to Abby Johns. Johns with the sacrifice bunt and a pop out to DiAgostino at third. Down low for ball 1. And if you're Johns, your job is just to find a way to extend the inning any way you can to get the red hot hitting Cam Feast at the plate. 1-1. It's a final in St. Leo. The Lions hang on against Florida Southern 4-3. So all of our game 1s of our Saturday Twin Bills are in the books officially. We'll give you a look around the league in game 2 during the next inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Abby Johns. As they're trying to see if she would chase after it, she does not. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, Cam Feast on deck. Two balls, 2 strikes. Misses up the escalator, and it's a full count.
John's showing great patience despite falling behind in the count, fouling ball off, and then taking a couple of pitches that weren't really that close.
Payoff pitch, low jam shot. That one will find some grass. They will bring the runner around. She will score. Johns goes over to second. So Johns takes advantage of the breaking ball inside, drops in front of the center fielder, Lewis. 5-0 lead for Tampa, second and third for Cam Feast. And Tim, you talked about this in game one. Tampa needing to execute with 2 outs, and they've been doing that here in particular in game number 2.
Seems like they just grab new life when they see there's 2 outs on the board. Maybe they need to start doing that from the start of the inning each time.
So fouled away by Cam Feast. All three Tampa runs in game one came with 2 out. 4 of their 5 runs here in game 2 have come with 2 down. The lone exception, the woman at the plate, Cam Feast, her RBI triple that scored Jenna Newpaper in the first. Breaks on the outside edge, catches the corner, 1-2. Feast has reached twice. Mentioned her triple. She walked and scored on a 2-run double by Joey Trawick in the third. In front of that one, Russo gets it over the first, and that will end the inning. But the Spartans once again strike with 2 out, this time off the bat of Abby Johns. Her RBI single, 1 run on 3 hits, 2 Spartans left on base. We'll head to the 5th. Spartans up 5-0 on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Top of the 5th here at the Nemoli Family Stadium. 5-0 lead for the Spartans. Gianna Russo, Anna Richiez, and Bryn Birchfield to the plate alongside Tim Henley. Victor Anderson, glad that you're back with us. The story right now, Holly Steppers. She's retired 12 in a row. Oh, ball 1. Of the 12 outs she has recorded, 6 of those outs have been ground outs. 3 flyouts and 3 strikeouts for the freshman. And inside, 2 balls, no strikes. So Gianna Russo. See Kenna Crowley trying to put her footing behind home plate. Right in front of Scott Boswell, our home plate umpire. 2-1. Shot up the middle, and now we'll break up the perfect game bid for Holly Steffes as Gianna Russo gets the Sharks' first base hit with an infield single. So Anna Richiez will come to the plate and with a 5-run cushion, and now you don't have to worry about the perfect game. You can just relax, execute, and just focus on recording outs. In order to record outs, you got to get strikes, and Stephens has had trouble locating the strike zone so far here in the 5th.
She struggled for most of this second game. Wasn't much of an issue for her in the first game, but maybe the fact that she gave up so many hits to Nova caused her to maybe be a little more cautious and try to paint to the corners as Richiez just flies out to Abby Johns.
Yeah, one down. Here comes Fred Bridgefield, and to kind of expand on your point, Tim, sometimes when you try to nibble at the corner, you make a mistake, you leave something over the heart of the plate, and that's where you can get into trouble. Birchfield struck out to end the second. Skips off the left, skips away from Kenna Kreidler. And Russo in scoring position off the wild pitch. So the first real sense of quote-unquote trouble for Steph is with the runner in scoring position. And that was inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Steph is with a 1.49 ERA entering this second game of our doubleheader. Hit well to left, but again, Johns is there for out number 2. Again, this is the Holly Stephens that Tampa fans saw pitch very well in the month of March. Made 5 appearances in the month and was absolutely superb. Had an ERA of .58, which pales in comparison to what Gwen McGinnis did in that slight delay on another wild pitch. Moves Russo over to third.
Yeah, during the month of March, Steph has really established herself as the number 2 starter on this Tampa roster, making herself stand out from the rest of the freshman pitchers that have been on the staff.
And that's kind of was the question going into this season. You know Gwen McGinnis is going to be Gwen McGinnis. You ain't think it was Gwen McGinnis was going to be like this. But the question is, with all those freshmen, with all these young arms under the tutelage of Jackie Davis, as she gets the strike to make the count 1 and 2, who would emerge as that number 2 option? And right now it's been the freshman from Palatine, Illinois, in the circle who's taking that mantle. And it's safe to say that the future is bright with Holly Stephens. And it always seems, Tim, that when Tampa has a junior or senior ace in the circle, you got another one in the line ready to take over and to be that ace of this Spartan program. And Stephens is looking like that right now. Popped up to Yetter, and that ends the inning. Stephens finally gives up the first base hit, but leaves that Shark stranded at third. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. 4.5 complete. Spartans 5, Sharks nothing on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Five nothing lead for the Spartans to be going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Victor Anderson, Tim Henley, glad that you're with us on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. It'll be Kenneth Kryler, Joey Traywick, Kelsey Winters due up. And Tampa, their offense has started to find some life and doing so, Tim, against one of the top pitchers in the league, Graceland Wallace. Chased her from the game after 3 innings and looking to add some more damage off Avery Desner.
Yeah, Tampa offense that doesn't often, as Kreidler just hits that one foul, Tampa offense that doesn't often explode for too many runs. And today, Joey Traywick has really carried the offense. 3 RBIs in this second game, leading the Spartans to a 5-0 lead.
And it's been a lead that Holly Steffes has made more than stand up. Have retired the first 12 Sharks before she gave up a leadoff single to Gianna Russo in the 5th. And the Kryler tails outside. 1-1 to count to Kryler. Kenna 0 for 2, struck out in the first, popped up to short in the 3rd. 2 balls and a strike now to the junior catcher. Tampa back in action next weekend here at home against their long-standing rival in the Rollins Stars. Friday night, 6 o'clock. Saturday doubleheader, 1 and 3 here in the Amoli Family Stadium. Of course, we will have the action for you on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. The next to last home series on the season. Hard to believe that we're saying that. It just felt like yesterday we were starting conference play. Straightaway center for Destiny Lewis, 1 out. Here's Joey Traywick. Traywick, the hero of Game 2 right now for the Spartans. 2-out RBI single in the first. 2-out, 2-run double in the 3rd.
Sharks will be mighty relieved that there isn't anybody on base for Traywick's at bat this time.
Traywick for the series is 4 for 8. And again, for those of you who are joining us late, Traywick hitting nearly 100 points higher in conference play than she was than her numbers overall in the season. And you can understand why Coach Cantor has let Traywick get some opportunities at center field with R.B. Zeckman going through a freshman slump. 3 balls, no strikes to Traywick. 1 down here in the 5th. Traywick takes all the way, brings the count to 3-1. Then you got Kelsey Winters on deck. 3 balls, 1 strike. And Traywick with her first 3-hit game as a Spartan. The Joey Traywick game continues.
Those conference numbers that you were referencing, Victor, are only going to go way up from here. 3 for 3, 2 singles, a double, 3 RBIs. Traywick doesn't want this game to end.
Here's Kelsey Winters. High and in, ball 1. Not only that's her first multi-hit game, that is not only her first 3-hit game, that's her first multi-hit game, period, as a Tampa Spartan. Winters is trying to do like a pitching wedge like Roy McIlroy did at Augusta on round 2 on Friday. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. See if Coach Cantor puts Traywick on the move. She does not. Fouled back by Winters, 1-2. And again, we have to stress with Joey Traywick, she has not had a multi-hit game in her 77 games as a Tampa Spartan. has 3 today. Winters over the shoulder of the center fielder, Lewis. Traywick would get the wave around. Dole gets wide. Throw to the plate. Traywick slides in safely. Winters slides in. She gets thrown out at third. Spartan fans not too happy. But Winters with the double gets thrown out at third. Leslie Cantor with some words of Brian Seraphin. But nonetheless, it's a 6-0 lead for Tampa.
I don't know. It looked like Winters might have been safe to me at third. And it looked like it was a really bold move sending Joey Traywick from third, considering the ball was already in the infield. But Traywick just adding to another great game.
So it'll be a pinch hitter, Olivia Feldman, hitting in a number 7 position for Carly Salisbury. So Feldman with the opportunity. Hits for Salisbury, who after going 0 for 2. Inside for strike 1. So pinch hitter, Olivia Feldman. Feldman 4 of 16 on the season, 3 runs driven in. Feldman takes that for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes to Feldman, pitch hitting in the 7th spot for Carly Salisbury. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th, 6-0 lead for the Spartans. One and 2 now to Feldman. Junior from Lithia, Florida. Hits that one well over the short. Could be a tough play for the shortstop. No, it's not for Savannah Isaacson. As she retires Feldman to end the inning. But the Spartans once again do the damage, and once again, they do it from an unexpected source. Kelsey Winters with the RBI double. 1 run, 2 hits, nobody left. We're through 5. 6-0 Tampa on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Top of the 6th, a 6-0 lead for the Spartans as they look to complete the sweep over Nova Southeastern. Victor Anderson, Tim Henley, glad that you're with us on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Destiny Lewis, Mia Schwanner, and Brianna Matthews to the plate to take on Holly Steffes. That was high and away for ball 1. 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Spartans. They've left 4. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Sharks. They've left 1. Holly Steffes has been in command all afternoon. That was the hardest hit ball of the day, but ends up being a fly out to Cam Feast for the first out of the 6th. And it's been that kind of afternoon for Holly Steffes. Gave up a leadoff single in the top of the 5th, and that's been all.
Steffes hit the reset button clearly in between games after having a bit of a rough outing in the first game, and he's looked nearly unhittable in this game.
She was unhittable for the first 12 batters before that aforementioned single by Gianna Russo to start the 5th. Swing and a miss. Nice looking pitch down in the dirt. Delivered to the 9-hole hitter Mia Schwanner. Yo, 2. Takes that one away for ball 1. Again, we've seen Steffes have this kind of performance before. Go back to a few weeks ago. That second game versus Palm Beach Atlantic. Misses just inside, brings the count to 2-2. Went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, struck out 7. 3 hits, struck out 7 in that win against the Sailfish. That was fouled out over the third to Newpaper for out number 2. That is her first and only complete game shutout as a Spartan. She had a combined shutout versus Wilmington on March the 6th when Gwen McGinnis came in to pitch the final 2 2/3. But so far, the first 6 innings have been all Holly Steffes as us fly out to Joey Trawick, retires the Sharks in order. Spartans will look to add some more and possibly end things as Holly Steffes gets some pat on the back from Jackie Davis. 5.5 for the books, 6-0 Spartans on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Bottom of the 6th we go. Hannah Yetter, Kenzie Reynolds, Jenna Newpaver come to the plate to take on Avery Desner, Victor Anderson, Tim Henley. Glad that you're hanging around with us on this Saturday afternoon around the Sunshine State Conference. Inside ball 1 to Yetter. Spartans scored 2 in the first, 2 in the third, a run each in the fourth and the fifth. And Holly Steffes has been nearly perfect. It's out 1 hit in 6 innings. And doing so on an economical 69 pitches, and Tampa on the precipice of completing another sweep against Nova Southeastern.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a nearly perfect second game for the Spartans from both sides of the ball. Offensively, putting up 6 runs on 9 hits, when offensively they've struggled at times this year, and Holly Steffes only allowing the 1 hit through 6 innings.
Whatever Coach Jackie Davis worked with her after she got pulled and in between games, it's that has worked, and it's been working at its almost perfect level. 3 balls, 1 strike to Yetter. Single back in the fourth, also has a fly out to left. And that one goes off the leg of Desner. And that'll be an infield single to start the 6th. That one hit low off the right leg of Desner. I don't know if it caught her above the ankle, Tim, or maybe right on it. But it looks like it'll have one of the Desner's gonna feel that one sting. Might need an extra ice pack for that. And we're gonna see that's gonna be Lennox Ulrich to run at first base. So Ulrich to pinch run at first, and here's Kenzie Reynolds. Reynolds also 1 for 2. Reynolds tries to bunt Ulrich over for foul. Game two's underway across the league. Embry-Riddle up early on Florida Tech, 3-0 there in the second. Barry and Rollins scoreless there also in the second as Reynolds again bunts that foul. Florida Southern and St. Leo set to get underway after St. Leo came back with 3 in the 6 to extend their winning streak to 30 in a row. Lynn leads Palm Beach Atlantic 3-0 there in the bottom of the 5th. Down low for ball one to Reynolds. One-two breaking ball. That one will be handled right near the fence on the first base side. Good effort by Anna Richiez. Take that in for round number one. And here comes Jenna Newpaper. So Newpaper to the plate. Newpaper's 1 for 2. Twists that in, takes ball one. Tampa looking to put the finishing touches on one of the best Saturdays of the season so far.
Newpaper, you could hear her say ow,
Yeah,
getting hit by the pitch.
Well, if I got hit where she got hit, I'll be saying ow too.
I'm not disagreeing. I could just say you could definitely hear it.
Mm-hmm. I think Newpaper got hit on the lower half, we'll be generous to say. I think my question would be, would you lift Newpaper just out of precaution and bring her back into 7th? Because you do have Aubrey Zeckman available to run for her if you need to. You've already used Olivia Feldman. You already used Lennox Ulrich.
Looks like she's going to stay in the game.
Yep, we talked about we're going to have a pinch hitter. It was going to be Bella Campbell. 11. Bella Campbell to pinch hit for Abby Johns. So first and second for the Spartans. Bella Campbell comes in 1 for 11. And by the way, you got Cam Feast on deck, and all she's done today is reach base twice. Just misses outside, 3-1.
Certainly starting to look like the end of game could be in sight for the Spartans here in the bottom of the 6th.
Again, with Cam Feast on deck, got the winning run on base at first. 3-1 to count to the pinch hitter, Bella Campbell. Campbell takes the strike and it's full. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out. Campbell taps down one, somehow avoids Jenna Newpaper. Throw to home is Slate. Ulrich is safe. It is 7-0. So it'll be up to Cam Feast. And how about Bella Campbell knocking in the run on the pinch hit?
Sometimes it's difficult when you don't get a lot of at-bats in a season to stay ready, be ready for when your number gets called. Bella Campbell did a great job of just getting her chance and taking advantage of it.
So here comes Cam Feast. Upstairs, ball one. And if you're Tampa, This is the optimal situation you want here. You have your best hitter. You have your best hitter in conference at the plate. The best hitter overall in the season on deck in Kenneth Kreidler. And you only need one of them to come through to come away with the win in 6 innings. And put the bow on a masterpiece from Holly Steffes. But he's going to be very patient, and that inside down the knees. Brings the count to 3-0. Up and in, ball 4. So the bases are loaded. And here comes he'll bring up Kenneth Kreidler, but not before we'll have a visit to the circle in the process. Kreidler, one of 2 Spartans who have not reached base today. I think Leslie Cantor hoping Kreidler can come through and send the faithful home early.
Outfield is way closer to the infield.
Yeah,
than they would
everybody's
be.
playing in. So anything over the outfield's head will send everyone home. Nope, that will not be deep enough. 2 out.
That's exactly why the outfield was playing in, just in case something like that happened.
I think it might be one of those instances, Tim, where Kenneth saw that outfield in and wanted to maybe put a little bit too much juice in it.
Yeah, that'll take you out of your normal approach, seeing something you don't normally see.
So 2 down. Here comes Joey Trawick.
Just when you thought you were out of danger.
Ground ball over to short. They'll flip over to third. They'll get the force out there, and that will send us to the 7th. Spartans had a chance to close things out in 6, but Holly Steffes will have a chance to officially close things out when we return. 7-0 Spartans on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Back here at Mamoli Family Stadium, a couple of defensive changes for the Spartans. Bella Campbell, who hit for Abby Johns, will stay in the game, will be in left. Olivia Feldman, who pinch hit for Callie Salisbury, will stay in the game. She'll be in first. The other route where we enter the game to play at second. So the defense for Tampa will be Feldman, Yetter, Reynolds, and Newpaver. And that will be a first pitch single to start off the 7th inning for Nova Southeastern and Abby Moore. Victor Anderson alongside Tim Henley. And the outfield will comprise of Campbell, Trawick, and Feast, left, center, and right respectively. Agostino goes out to the first pitch. And Reynolds and Newpaper saying, I got it. No, I got it. No, I got it. But eventually it was Reynolds who made the play, 1 out.
Typically that play would, the third baseman would leave it to the shortstop, but Newpaver just dedicated to getting that ball.
Eh. Gianna Russo, the woman who had the first base hit for Nova Southeastern in the top of the fifth, takes that for strike one. A looking pitch, but it's called a ball. 1-1. That one finds his mark. 1-2 strikes. Holly Steffens has been immaculate today. 73 pitches, 42 strikes. He's only allowed 2 hits, no walks, and struck out 3. And I will get over the glove of the shortstop. And the Sharks will find themselves with runners at second and third. So the second base hit of the afternoon for Abby Moore. And the Sharks have multiple runners on board, second and third, and 1 out. And I'll bring a visit from head coach Leslie Cantor. And looks like Coach Cantor is going to make a move to the bullpen. Gives a high five to Steffes. So Steffes will give the pitch calm and get a nice round of applause. So Steffes goes 6 1/3, and it'll be Gwen McGinnis to close things out. Now, we figured Tim McGinnis would start in game number 2, or start the final game of the series, but after she pitched 4 innings in game number 1, Coach Cantor wanted to roll the dice, let Holly Steffes go, and have McGinnis available just in case. And Holly Steffes did a phenomenal job, went 6 1/3, 3 hits, and Gwen McGinnis is all a matter of trying to preserve the shutout for Tampa in the series finale.
Yeah, turning to Gwen McGinnis is always a good idea for Leslie Cantor. McGinnis usually will come through and usually do it in pretty quick fashion. So Cantor just not wanting to take any chances of this game getting remotely interesting, just putting McGinnis in the circle to close out the game.
Up ball 1. Numbers for Steffes, 6 1/3, 3 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts, a wild pitch on 74 pitches, 43 strikes. That one will land off the screen and caught by Kenna Kryler. That would have been a nice catch in the old arena football days for the Tampa Bay Storm, but instead it's a foul ball. One ball, 1 strike, 2 on and 1 out. McGinnis trying to preserve the shutout for Steffes like she did on March 6th versus Wilmington. Steffes went 4 1/3 that day. McGinnis pitched the final 2 2/3 to preserve the 1-0 win, and then almost lost a shutout on that hanging breaking ball, but dealt it foul.
It's not often you see McGinnis pitch twice in a day and not get a start in either of those games. But that is the case here today.
Hit to center field. Should be deep enough to tag the runner. Treywick makes the catch. And I'll be plenty deep enough to bring home Abby Moore. So the shutout comes to an end on a sacrifice fly from Anna Richiez. So 2 outs, runner at second. They'll be up to bring Birchfield. Down and outside, ball 1. That run charged to Steffes. Birchfield fouls that one off. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 down here in the top of the 7. Spartans putting the finishing touches on a series sweep against Nova Southeastern, proving to 26-8 overall, 13-5 in conference. And depending on how things break with Florida Tech and Embry-Riddle, right now that game going on, they're in the top of the 3rd. Embry-Riddle with the lead over the Panthers. Down and outside, 2-2. Nova Southeastern will return back home to take on the number 2 Lions of St. Leo next weekend. Ooh, a little bit high and tight. Brings the count full, 3-2. Embry-Riddle leads Florida Tech 3-0 there in the top of the third. Embry-Riddle took the first game of the doubleheader earlier today. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Softly line and a diving catch by Hannah Yetter to end the ball game. Spartans win. Holly Steffes pitches 6 1/3 of masterful softball. Gwen McGinnis comes in, concedes an inherited runner to score, but the Spartans are able to get the sweep, and they do so by the score of 7-1. 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Spartans. They leave 6. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the Sharks. They leave 2. Holly Steffes to win. She goes to 6-1. Grayson Wallace tagged with a loss. She falls to 13-9. And Tim, a solid Saturday for Tampa. Gwen McGinnis comes in relief, gets 4 innings and gets the win in game 1. And then Holly Steffes does her job. 4 perfect innings to start things off in game number 2. And the Spartan offense was the story in this second game.
Certainly the game 2 will be much more encouraging for Leslie Cantor, seeing Holly Steffes go almost a complete game and seeing the offense put up 7 runs and 11 hits to really come alive.
It was really a Tampa offense all up and down the lineup that did the work. And this game will be known as the Joey Trawick game. Trawick 3 for 3, 3 RBIs. And again, ladies and gentlemen, for proper context, Joey Trawick came into this game with 5 RBIs total. She had 3 in her first 2 at-bats and went 3 for 3 as the Spartans complete the sweep over Nova Southeastern by the score of 7-1. We'll talk to you once again next Friday night as Rollins will come into town to take on the Tampa Spartans. For Tim Henley and the rest of our crew, I'm Victor Anderson saying so long for visiting Ole Family Field. You've been watching Tampa softball on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.